Gauteng Premier David Makhura has spoken strongly against corruption. He was answering COVID-19 tender-related questions in the provincial legislature. Makhura has called for jail time for all those responsible for corruption in Gauteng. And my colleague Manqoba Mchunu was following that sitting, and he joins us. So the Premier, in fielding questions on corruption, said what, Ngoba?
Well, to the Premier talking tough this morning to members of the legislature on corruption, saying that the time for talk is over. It's now time for action to see those, of course, implicated in corruption being jailed and also facing the full march of the law. But in terms of the investigation itself, the Premier saying that they are now in a process where they've identified some of these companies that have been fingered in corruption, and in fact saying that they're now trying to recoup some of those monies. You recall that over 40 of those companies' accounts have already been frozen. So the Premier saying that the SIU investigation is still ongoing, but in terms of discipline, he says that there has to be consequence management within government, not only to allow for those who have been implicated in wrongdoing to simply face a disciplinary hearing, but also to face criminal charges and face the full march of the law with regards to some of those serious allegations. Recall that 3 of the officials have already been suspended, amongst them the CFO, Kabelo Lehlwenya, of course, have been fingered as being the central key figures in this particular PPE corruption scandal. So the Premier saying that the time for them only to get away with simply facing disciplinary is over. They need to actually face the full march of the law. But in terms of how they're dealing with corruption, the Premier is saying that they've now roped in the Gauteng Forensic Investigating Unit into his office. They'll be working together with the Integrity Committee as well as members of the SIU to actually do risk profiling on some of the departments that are prone to corruption. So they were looking at various projects and scrutinizing them to see whether or not there are any red flags in those projects. But he says for now, the focus will be on opening those criminal charges. Let's take a listen to what he has to say.
My heart is very, very, very sore. They have destroyed from the point of view of public resources that have been, that the investigation is on. We will get the full report, but we want public people who are public officials and those who are in business must be held accountable. As I said, this doesn't seem like it's something that just happened. It seems like it was a proper plan designed to ensure that rules are not followed, and as quickly as possible, people make a quick buck. We want the money recovered. And having done all the things I said we have done, we have put this in place, we have trained people, integrity processes. These people must go to jail. The money must be recovered, because it basically means that they are always watching, there are always people in the system and in business who think that they can, at the slightest opportunity open, they would want to do business in an unethical way. I have no mercy for those. I have no mercy for government officials, having spent so much time with government officials saying that we want clean governance in Gauteng. This can't be done, that can't be done. I have no mercy.
An investigation is currently underway. Did the Premier give details in terms of how far in it is?
Well, not to a great extent. In fact, we do know that there are 3 companies that already are facing criminal charges relating to some of those PPE tender scandals. But in terms of the investigation, the SIU investigation, that of course is still ongoing. And the Premier saying that they've now also roped in the Auditor General's office to look into some of the issues. Also in that, the Competition Commission to look at whether there was price fixing or whether some of those prices were inflated. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
All the monies that wherever corruption would have happened, the SIU is following. You know, they've already frozen some accounts. The first set of accounts were 40. They are not only those ones. They will freeze every other account once they have done their investigation, and those people did not get the job properly. We're also working with the AG's office. In addition to the SIU, regularly, my office work also with the AG's office to look at issues that may be raising the red flag on these issues. Fixed price fixing is being investigated by other agencies, including the Competition Commission.
Manqoba Mchunu, let's leave it there. Thank you very much.